Hi, my name is Izzuddin and I will guide you through our video. Have you ever heard about energy conversion? It's a process of transforming energy provided by nature into forms that can be used as humans. Imagine the power of the sun into the fuels of our daily life. It's almost magic. So Evercam has gathered some energy at their energy storage system. They need our help to design a new compound. By using the energy, they could convert it into the new compound. Before that, let's take a look at the theories. The laws of thermodynamics correlates well with this case. The first law of thermodynamics states that the energy cannot be created or destroyed, only converted from one form into another. Second law of thermodynamics is, in any energy conversion process, the overall entropy of disorder of the system and its surrounding tends to increase. So the problem here is to convert electrical energy into chemical energy at the Evercam ESS plant producing an ulterior compound. Our task is to identify a suitable compound to substitute octane. We also need to design a unit process accompanied by a simple flow diagram describing the reaction to elaborate our decision. Hi again. Our team already think of a proposed solution and have decided that the alternative compound chosen to substitute octane is methane. Why? It is because methane is widely available, and not to forget that it can be sourced from various renewable and non-renewable resources, which translate that it is easy to obtain. Methane also contributes to carbon neutrality, a way to expand the Earth's lifespan. Great! Oh, and methane also has a high energy content per unit volume. Convenient! The proposed unit process involves the electrochemical synthesis of methane from CO2 and hydrogen. The simplified flow diagram to the reaction is like this. To justify our reason, I leave it to my friend Lau to explain the data analysis that we got.
So for the data analysis part, the overall reaction is CO2 plus 4H2 and becomes CH4 plus 2H2O. And the factor that affect the rate of reaction consists of three parts, and they are the temperature, concentration of the reactants, and catalyst. So for the temperature, in a higher temperature surrounding, the kinetic energy of CO2 and H2 particles increases, which means that the movement of these particles increases. When kinetic energy increases, the frequency of the collision between CO2 and H2 particles also increases along with the frequency of effective collision between CO2 and H2 particles. For the concentration of the reactants, it is directly proportional to the rate of reaction with the formula R equals to Ksc power of n, where R is the rate of reaction, K is the specific rate, C is the concentration of the reactants, and N is the order of the reaction. When the concentration of reactants CO2 and H2 gas increases, a greater number of particles are present per unit volume. Thus, it increases the frequency of collision and the frequency of effective collision between the CO2 and H2 particles. And for the catalyst part, it provides an alternative pathway of a lower activation energy. And the definition of activation energy is the minimum energy required for the reaction to occur between the collision of two particles. So the reaction with catalyst will have a lower activation energy. Hence, the minimum energy required for the reaction to occur between the collision of CO2 and H2 particles is lower. According to the collision theory, the frequency of effective collision between CO2 and H2 particles will increase with an addition of catalyst because more particles receive enough energy to react. Hence, the rate of reaction will increase. Now we have come to the determination of enthalpy and entropy. For the determination of enthalpy, it is equals to summation of product minus by summation of reactant. And the final answer is negative 252.95 kJ per mole. And the determination of entropy E is equals to summation of product minus by summation of reactant as well. And the final answer for it is negative 410.392 joules per mole Kelvin. And now we'll talk about the effect of temperature towards the reaction, which is the Gibbs free energy. And G is equals to the enthalpy minus by temperature times with the entropy. Because for the both enthalpy and entropy has a negative value, when the temperature increases, the entropy part will overtake the enthalpy part and gives the Gibbs free energy a positive value. So when we assume the temperature decreases, it will give the Gibbs free energy a negative value. When the Gibbs free energy has a positive value, it means that they are non-spontaneous. And for them to have a negative value, it means it's a spontaneous reaction. For the thermodynamic limitation, at high temperature, the reaction will be thermodynamically limited because the reaction is non-spontaneous. At contrast, at low temperature, the reaction will be thermodynamically favored because the reaction is spontaneous. Based on kinetic limitation, at high temperature, the rate of reaction will increase because kinetic energy of the CO2 and H2 particles will increase. Hence, the rate of collision and effective collision between CO2 and H2 particles will also increase. And at low temperature, the rate of reaction will decrease because kinetic energy of the CO2 and H2 particles will decrease. Hence, the rate of reaction and effective collision between CO2 and H2 particles will also decreases. And that's all for the data analysis part.
Thank you, Lau. So there you have it. To sum it up, the new unit proposed is electrochemical synthesis of methane. This process involves an electrolyzer with catalyst and electrodes. The benefit of it is it enables efficient energy conversion and storage. Plus, it supports sustainable and reliable electricity generation. By implementing this new unit process, we can play a significant role in supporting sustainable and reliable electricity generation for residential and industrial purposes. Whereas the idea has been pitched, but the execution is non-existent, best believe all effort will be in vain. The layout of our proposal has been presented in hope that everyone will take part for the betterment of humanity. One can only hope, but together, let's build a sustainability environment for a better future. That's all from us. Thank you for your attention and have a good